this is my latest Artist in the Garden structure, my garden project. I saw this picture on the internet, and it's a paint tube where the flowers are kind of in a garden that grows out of it. And in years to come, I'll set it up so that the pink, this is the supertunia vista bubblegum, and matching the pink on the tube, I'll have it so that it grows out the bottom of the tube and it looks like a paint tube with flowers. So I will show you how to make this. So I am just laying out a design for the label on my paint tube. It's going to be painted white and then have two bands of a pink color, which then I can easily match a pink flower. The supertunia bubblegum petunias, and it'll look like the flowers are kind of growing out of the tube. Pink is my easiest color to match. It's one of my favorite colors, so we're going to put a pink label on it. So I'm just marking out, just eyeballing kind of where I want my label to end. And then I can start with the spray paint. I'm just taping off my design. I'm going to cover the ends where I don't want the spray paint to get with this, just this plain paper. And we're going to paint it white first, and then a couple of accents with pink, and then my design and my name will go in the middle. Okay, so I have just laid out this piece of plastic over the table that I'm going to use to paint with. I'm painting in the garage because it's actually pouring rain outside right now. Not the best day to be painting something, but we'll give it a shot and see. Dry time will probably take a little longer because of the humidity and moisture that's in the air today. So we're going to give it a shot. So I'm going to start with a coat of white and see how it sits on the metal. I'll probably give it a quick clean just to make sure there's no oils or fingerprints and grease, so that the paint will stick really well to that. So I'll give it a quick clean and then we'll get to painting. So this cleaner is just a little bit of rubbing alcohol in some water, and I'm just gently wiping it down, wiping off any of the greasy fingerprints that were on it so that the paint will stick really well to it. So the paint I'm going to try using on it is called Krylon Dual Super Bond. It's maximum rust protection. This is aluminum, so we don't really have to worry about rust. But it has a great adhesion to metal, wood, plastic, and laminate. So we're going to try that and see how it works. This is ivory gloss color, so no sanding, no priming, and it also says it does bond with plastic, so I'm hoping it bonds really well to the aluminum. This is what I'm going to give a try. Probably have a mask on while I'm doing this. This sit and dry for a few minutes. I've tried to get a nice even thin coat for the first layer. I'll let that sit and dry for a bit, and then we'll come back and even it out even more. In about 25 minutes after the first coat, squeeze the lid to open it, and I'll start with the second one. that is my second coat, and I'm pretty happy with how that coverage is. I did grab 2 cans of each color, hoping that it would be enough. But yeah, we'll let that set and we'll let that dry probably another 20-25 minutes with the humidity today, and we'll come back and check it out. Okay, so it's been another 20 minutes or so, and this second coat on this side is dry. And I think I'm going to start on the other side. I just have one more can of the white paint, and I don't want to run out of paint before I get it finished. So I'm going to flip it over and do the other side, and then start on the design. My first run in the paint. Okay, I'm not going to try and do too much more. As you can see, I have my first run from the paint over there. That'll be easy enough to hide. I will have a pink stripe going across the top and the bottom, but I'm going to let this dry and come back in about 20 minutes. That is looking pretty good. Again, one's going to be the front and one's going to be the back. So I've got a little bit of white left. I think I'm going to save it and do any touch-ups I might need to do after I figure out which side's going to be the front and which side's going to be the back. So again, we'll let this dry for another 20 minutes or so, and then I'm going to come back and tape off 2 strips at the top and the bottom, and I'll add in some pink. Okay, so I cut out a template for, it's kind of like a paint splash to go in the middle of the paint tube, and then I use a straight line from the bottom and the top to do a border of pink, and the paint splotch is also going to be pink, and I'm just going to kind of lay it out. I think I'm gonna have to tape all the edges on that. I don't have a spray adhesive, but what would work perfectly would be one of those, the stencil adhesives that you could get that would just lightly tack that down onto the surface. But I don't have that, so I'll probably have to tape some of it and use maybe just some weights just to hold the template down so that the spray paint doesn't go underneath it. If I do need to do some touch-ups afterwards, I guess I could do just some acrylic paint on top. Anyways, that's where we're at. This is still a little bit tacky. The paper's sticking to it a little bit. So I'm gonna leave it just a little while longer before I start adding another coat of paint on top of that. I've completed my next garden project. It was a fun art sculpture project that I wanted to add into the garden, and it was great fun making it. I saw it online. It was a picture of a paint tube, and out of the paint tube were some flowers, and it went into a flower bed. So that was the inspiration behind this paint tube that I created for the garden. I've just set it up here for now in front of these petunias. I've done it in pink so that I can do a flower garden next year and have the supertunia vista bubblegum pink flowers come out of the paint tube and make it look like a garden. So this year I've just kind of set it up here for now just to give you an idea of what it looks like and the size comparison to the house. And it was made out of the HVAC tubing. So it's the aluminum tubing that you get at your Home Depot. I bought 2 pieces and put them together. I couldn't find one that was wide enough that I liked. What were they? 8 inches by 60 inches. I think the tag is still on the tube here. It is 8 inches by 60 inches. So 2 tubes, 8 inches by 60 inches, and I've just opened them up and fastened them together and created a paint tube.